as all hell not to come in and try and challenge Elizabeth Warren on this and saying, I'm the only candidate on the stage that supports Medicare for all. Put my hands up, say it. Because the Democratic Party needs to know. They need to make sure the boundaries are outlined firmly and clearly that Elizabeth Warren is firmly and pretty quite in a big way to the right of to the left of Elizabeth Warren on Medicare for all. Like she has it's obvious right now. Like there's no disputing anymore. Bernie is to the Elizabeth is to the right of Bernie on this issue. It is at this point cannot be questioned. Within her first 100 days of her administration, she proposes to pass a bill allowing anyone to buy into Medicare while providing it free of charge to children under 18 and anyone making less than 200% of the federal poverty level, which is $51,500 for a family of four. Her administration would use the budget reconciliation to avoid the Senate filibuster and pass with only 51 votes. So this process would require Democratic squishes like Manchin and Sinema to find something resembling conviction. So, or as Bernie would say, and the question is, would Elizabeth Warren do? Bernie has said before that he is willing to go into their districts and campaign for it. But with Elizabeth Warren, that's the thing. What she's really going to need is someone who's going to, what he's going to really need, what this policy is really going to need to get passed, is somebody who has an iron grip on the Democratic Party, who will get people like Nancy Pelosi in line, and someone who is going to come in, who's going to really be the public face of the Democratic Party, who's going to get all the people unified, and if not, no one will have a problem with him or her, depending on the candidate that wins the election, coming in there and saying, I will not, I will come after you if you don't get behind what I'm trying to do here. We're one party, we're a united Democratic Party, and we need to push for this. Like, this is the unquestionable, like this is the reality of the situation. So, yeah, Warren's proposal would cap premiums at 5% of income, which would be competitive with most, if not all, employer-sponsored insurance. Competing plans among the Democratic field peg the cap at 8%. The cover benefits would match those enumerated in Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All bill. Confusingly, she claims the bill would gradually decrease to zero. The cost sharing, like premiums and copays in subsequent years. This is pretty much essentially saying that the public option would morph into free healthcare at some point, like Medicare for All, but without the abolition of private insurance. That frightens me a little bit, because private insurance would still be able to claw their way back in. That's really what worries me about this in a big way. But who but the obscenely rich would keep paying for private insurance if there's a free public option that covers basically everything? And why would such a plan be easier to pass than Medicare for All? Those questions continue to remain unanswered, and that's what I was talking about before. Just say something fair, like, so just get it across. Like, stand up for your convictions. Don't be like, but we could do this and maybe this, but no, say I want this. Like, is it that hard to ask? Is that hard to? Is that too much to request of a Democratic candidate here? It seems to be at this point. With these means-tested plans here, that just really just are the typical calling card of your average Democrat in today's day and age. So, yeah, we are going to continue with the show in just a bit. Hello, everyone. My name is Spencer Walsh. Here's what's happening on the Spencer Walsh Radio Network. We have Newsflash, always new every Sunday, and, of course, with new episodes occasionally on Thursdays, bonus episodes. Also for you, we have Red Alert, new at 11 p.m. every Monday, Uncultured, new at 8:30 p.m., live at 8:30 p.m. every Friday, the best mix show in the game. And also, we have a brand new line out, repping your generation, insulting the old world, repping the young world. Our new OK Boomer merch line is out now. Check it out on Spreaker.com/TSWS. All right, so we're talking about Pete Buttigieg and Democratic candidates pretty much in general who have been flip-flopping non-stop on the Medicare for All policy. Pete Buttigieg, another good example of one of these people. Yeah, and he's been taken to task by the Justice Democrats recently. And yeah, so moving to Stunt 20, this is from the Washington Times here, because only conservatives want to cover this, and more left-wing outlets, because, again, the establishment left-leaning people want to keep their guys in line. But the far-left Democratic Party is sharpening its attacks against the South Bend, Indiana mayor, casting him as a calculated, silver-tongued politician who has shown he will not be a warrior for their causes. Allies of Sanders and Warren say Buttigieg has flip-flopped on Medicare for All, a charge his campaign dismisses as a clear attempt to distort his views. So, yeah, Waleed Shahid is a spokesman for Justice Democrats. He was warning that Buttigieg was for Medicare for All before he was against it. Fun fact. He, in an email blast on Wednesday, realized he was never going to be able to beat Warren and Sanders as a progressive, and said he got scared of the fight. He realized he could raise tons of cash from corporate executives in the pharmaceutical and insurance industry. Buttigieg's support has spiked in the polls since the last debate where he argued against the Medicare for All. I don't think the fact that he rise was because he argued against Medicare for All. I just don't think that's accurate. But again, you could look at it that way if you want. But I do want to get into their reasoning for this, and it is it's pretty comprehensive, and it really does provide a 2-year timeline of 2020 of the candidate, his remarks on Medicare for All. Buttigieg, who is now running on a public option plan called Medicare for All, who want it, again, very, very similar to what Elizabeth Warren is proposing as her quote-unquote first step, the one that she's going to try and do, really actually try to do in the first 100 days, and then wait till after the midterms to actually push for the single-payer system. But Buttigieg, now, again, running on this public option plan, has received more campaign cash from the healthcare industry than any other 2020 Democratic presidential candidate aside from Trump. Buttigieg was for Medicare for All before he was against it, again, as he said. This is against this 17th of 2018, 17th of February 2018. Buttigieg is befuddled as to why anyone would ever question his support for Medicare for All. He replies to a account. This is called People Summit, which is a left-wing group. And saying that Pete Buttigieg does not support Medicare for All. He says, when, where have you ever heard me oppose Medicare for All? And this is the kind of first step that says that he is firmly in favor of Medicare for All, because, I mean, he was a pretty progressive guy before he had to run and actually clean up his act. On the next day, Buttigieg says he supports single-payer Medicare for All. So there's no ambiguity on this. Buttigieg wrote in a response to those questioning, this is from the press release here, questioning his commitment to Medicare for All, quote, I do henceforth and forthwith declare, most affirmatively and indubitably, into the ages, that I do favor Medicare for All, pointing to an op-ed to demonstrate that he supported it since 2004. While Buttigieg's campaign says that Medicare for All in 2018 did mean a single payer and transitioning away from private insurance, the op-ed points that he explicitly mentions Buttigieg's support for a single payer in this op-ed that he wrote, supposedly supporting it in 2004. And again, there was no time that Medicare for All did not mean transitioning away from a single payer. Anyone who says that is just kind of insane. Buttigieg calls for single payer Medicare for All a year later, this is February 14th, 2019. Buttigieg was pressed on MSNBC by Steve Ratner on his position on Medicare for All during the early stages of his campaign. Buttigieg says the ACA, which was a conservative proposal, can be characterized as left-wing by a very disciplined right-wing message machine. What is Medicare for All? It's a compromise. In the UK, you got national health care. That would be the true left-wing position. The true right-wing position is a free-for-all. All the corporate the compromise position is a single-payer system where you have private doctors but a single payer. So again, it looks like he's still moving away from the single-payer system a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. So Buttigieg spoke in glowing terms about Medicare for All and called the ACA a conservative tweak during a podcast interview with Ezra Klein. This is on the 1st of April. By the Obama years, we're doing a basically conservative tweak to our healthcare system. Wow, that's saying something about Obama's signature achievement, cooked up by the Heritage Foundation and piloted by a Republican governor. Single payer, which is very much a compromise position between the nationalized medicine fully private payer provider. That's the middle ground. Only now are we beginning to talk about something that the Democrats can embrace. And again, all of a sudden, if you're cut to just a few months down the road, this is now shocker. Shocker here. This is absolute shocker. This is now the far left position that is not going to be able to win the Democrats anything in the upcoming election. So yeah, on the 19th of July, Buttigieg begins raking in money from pharmaceutical and health insurance executives. Among Democratic candidates, Buttigieg was the second to Joe Biden in July in terms of pharmaceutical and health insurance donations. His list of donors included executives from Aetna, Regeneron Pharmaceuticals, Pfizer, and Indiana's Eli Lilly & Co. And here's the big change. The 19th of September 2019, he shifts tactics and goes on the attack. Anyone who lets the words Medicare for All escape from their lips should probably tell us plainly how they plan to get there. Saying of Warren's known for being straightforward and was extremely evasive when asked that question, and we've seen that repeatedly. This was in reference to, I think, one of her debates, attacking Warren about that at the debate over Medicare for All. A top lobbying affairs official for a pharmaceutical giant, Merck, hosted a fundraiser for Buttigieg on the 25th of October. Facing criticism over his flip-flop, Buttigieg misleadingly argues the meaning of Medicare for All has suddenly changed. Only in the last few months did it become the case that Medicare for All was defined by politicians to mean ending private insurance, and I've never believed that was the right pathway. Maybe like earlier this year, but I mean, if you go back a little bit more. Fully completing his evolution here, Buttigieg campaign claims that he only ever supported Medicare for All as a goal. This is a more deceptive move that also former Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe has used. The deflection reminds one of something AOC said after being elected. One of the things that gets told is just everyone to settle down. To get everyone to settle down is, quote, I agree with you. We have the same goals. It's great that everyone thinks these issues are important. We need to make them urgent. And since the summer, Buttigieg's campaign donations from pharmaceutical companies have floored, have just gone crazy. So that's all very fun and well and good. So, all right, yeah. We now want to turn the tide to Jeffrey Epstein. Prince Andrew, a member of the royal family, he's facing a massive backlash over his extraordinary defense of his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein after lawyers who represent 10 of the billionaire's predator victims branded the royal unrepentant and implausible and demanded that he speak to the FBI. After the royals' Defiant Newsnight interview on Saturday triggered a disbelieving reaction from the public and the media, the prince was under pressure from critics in the UK and US who demanded an apology for his conduct and said the defense of his actions was simply not credible. And I do want to leave you with this interview. It's just, we'll break it down, but I do want to play you this incredible clip here from this interview. That was just, we'll play the interview first and show you how it happened next. All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, get ready to be shocked for this clip here. Because boy, is it crazy. We're going to restart from the beginning here.
One of Epstein's accusers, Virginia Roberts, has made allegations against you. She says she met you in 2001. She says she dined with you, danced with you at Tramp nightclub in London. She went on to have sex with you in a house in Belgravia belonging to Ghislaine Maxwell, your friend. Your response?
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady. None whatsoever.
You don't remember meeting her?
No.
But you were staying at the house of
Yes.
a convicted sex offender.
It was a convenient place to stay. I've gone through this in my mind.